Good morning. It is gorgeous. We had a little bit of rain yesterday. We didn't get as much as they said, but hey, rain's rain, I'll take it. The smell of the wet trees, oh, and that eucalyptus smell mixed with a bit of tea tree and just smells absolutely amazing. Oh, it's so good. Got a Banksia in there. Now this part I started clearing in winter, about June, July last year, 22. I started walking in here and it was just covered with all these dead trees, and you're probably thinking, Pam, it still is covered with dead trees. Honestly, it was, look, I'll show you what it looked like before Pammy got to it. And I've even taken lots from here, so even this was a lot worse than it is. See my stick piles, and I burnt a lot of this. I would come down and take firewood every day and burn it, and plus I took a lot back to the house when I actually did it. But do you see this? And the further you go in, this honestly smells so good. Now, where I actually am is down the very front of my property, and on this side is Eddie's paddock, just there. This is the bottom end of Eddie's paddock, and then this part over here is the very front, and this of my, this is where my driveway is, but it's it's on the right, not to the left here. So the neighbour has horses in his paddock. He actually has a lot. There's groups of, look, there's 4 there. There's 4 horses, and he also has sheep in this front paddock. But I just have a wild, crazy mess. And to me, it's just a massive fire hazard. And not only that, what can grow with so much death around it? Or dead around it? You need, mulch is made up of all different elements, and you need the bit of green in your mulch, because it's the breaking down of the green to the dead that's where the nutrients come from. So everything's relevant. Every single little bit helps. So I'm not saying this dead stuff doesn't help. It does. But you need a bit of both. And by me dragging it out, you open it all up. And I have to say, you have a look, this is the part that I haven't done. And then you look at the part that I have done. Look at the beautiful light coming through and hitting that grass. And so that will make things grow. And then, of course, Pammy's going to come in and put some tube stock and some seeds and see what goes on. And one of the things I did do, see around these trunks, there was all this wood. So I removed that, especially this big girl up here. Like this, she is, and I can see her because my house is up there. So I can see this big girl from my veranda, and she is just, absolutely a superstar. And I would say this big girl, you know, she's taking the brunt, because you think she's right out front of the paddock, so she gets all this wind, you know, sun, you name it. But look at her, she is just dynamite. Just love her. And as I said, can you see the sun coming through and the clearing? I'm going to clear all these fences away too, because that's just stopping stuff. As I said, they had cows where I don't. So, there's the fence. There's a fence a little bit further back there, that's my boundary. So this is just, I don't know what it's supposed to be keeping out, but old stuff. And this is what, you know, we've done. We've just left a lot of stuff here, you know, just laying around. And if we just clean it up, it's just such a difference. But can you see? Like, you can see ground. And I had to stop because it started getting warmer. And as soon as it gets warm here, honestly, you've just got to leave it alone, because there's just too many snakes and stuff. And also, honestly, you just die from the heat. It is just so hot. But I will, you know, bring this back. And isn't it interesting, like, she sheds all her bark. Now that is beautiful mulch. So I will probably just rake that all up and put that all around her, and keep her nice and moist and protected. This isn't actually too bad soil down here, and I think it's because it runs off, you know, the paddocks or the hill and comes down here. It's not ideal bush. Like, there's so much dead that, you know, it's putting a lot of strain on the trees. And we actually had one fall down last year, and we used it as firewood, and it's jarrah, and absolutely amazing. Jarrah burns for a long time, and it gets really hot so really quickly, so it's such a good one if it's keeping your hot water and your stove going, which I do in winter. So, and look at how sexy this wood was. So it is a bit tough to chop, but when you get it, it's worth it. Now, this is the corner of this property, and I have to say, I'm not a fan of what we've done, because it's just not smart. But if you look down here, well, you will see all the bulrushes in. Now, this is Eddie's paddock. It's all bulrushes, right? So once upon a time, this was water. And you can see why, because look, it came down here and went, look at this. There's all river gums, a couple of paper barks, you know, all plants. Now, this is how dumb we are. We've divided this land into 3 parts. So, I own from this fence back. He owns from this fence that way. And then they own from this fence that way. So no one owns this river that would have been here. Oh dear. And what happens? Because we haven't done it well, poor nature is just struggling to find somewhere to put all the water. You know, so that's why if I clear this and then plant some beautiful bushes, because there's certainly enough trees here, but there's no bushes. And the bushes and the plants and the flowers and all of those things are all the things that add nutrients to it. It's like cooking and just having one flavour. Where if you add all different assorted plants and trees and shrubs and flowers and all of those things, then you just end up with an amazing flavour in your garden. Also, you can feed so many different creatures if you have different varieties of trees and shrubs. So, and that's how this land would have been. And if you think it was so close to so much water, then it would have been really healthy 100 years ago before we came here farming. And you know what? It's just going to be interesting to see what happens naturally with me planting stuff. I'm not going to go too much further because it is still warm here and we've only just had one rain, and this goes back ages. But I just wanted to show you the difference between me clearing and cleaning to me not. And that's why I say to you all the time that every little bit matters. You know, don't think that by doing this one little tiny thing, you're off, you know, no one will notice. Absolutely they will. Absolutely they will. Because I can guarantee you straight away I was finding things. Actually, it's interesting because I just remember now, I was talking to the lady from the native nursery, and she said one of the things that we haven't been able to grow is the bush orchid. And thinking about it last year, I did down here. I was down here with my big cousin who's from the country as well, and he's from my farm, in our farm in Badgingarra. I lived with his mum and dad, and he was the one that found the bush orchid down here. Because look at this. I mean, look at these trees. The smell here of the wet eucalyptus. Oh. You know what I'm saying though. If you cleared all the dead from this, I think you would be amazed at what would come through. And I'm going to dig a little so you can see. But this is, if you think about it, this is what a forest floor is supposed to look like, or a woodlands, or a oh, you got a kookaburra. See what I mean? There's so many creatures here. But what I was saying about the ground, see how good it is. And then if you dig in here, oh my gosh, it is gorgeous. Look at that. Look at that. And it's not moist, but it's not dry. It is gorgeous, honestly. Wow. And the smell. If you want to get mulch, this is where I'll be grabbing it from. This has just given me such a great idea. I'm going to come in here and grab some mulch. And look at it, like it is just, and it's full of seed. Like you think it's got, you know, nuts and seeds and leaves and all sorts of things. So, and this is native everything. So whatever, if you put this anywhere around my farm, it's going to be fine because this is where it came from. I'm pretty sure that is a cow turd or cow patty. Now, the bulls haven't been here for at least 14 months, at least. So it just goes to show you how long, and you saw how awesome this soil is. So if it's not breaking down that quickly here, imagine how slowly it's breaking down out in the paddock. And people are saying, oh, it's good for the soil, but a bit like all the dead trees here, you can't just have one thing, you know. And this is why adding nutrients every year to your plants don't work, is because you've just got to keep it up, because that's the care that you're telling it needs. Where if you don't give your plant all of those things and you put in other plants around, that's the biggest thing we do wrong, is we put plants in singular form. Look around. Plants don't like that. They like each other. So I don't care what you're growing, chuck it in with something else and you watch. You won't have to add anything to it. They'll help each other out. I think it's something we're going to learn how to do. Because even in death, nature's helping it out. Even in death, it's offering goodness to the ground. So every single aspect of a plant's life is giving. You know, why it's alive, it gives off oxygen, leaves, homes, food, you know, fruit, berries, nuts, you name it. And then shelter. And then in death, it goes back to the ground and gives it all beautiful nutrients and some more love. Isn't it just amazing? And have a guess what? I'm pretty sure we're the same. I'm pretty sure that if you put us in a nice, healthy environment with nice, healthy people, you watch us grow and flourish and be amazing. And the same thing, you go and put yourself in a bad, sick, dry environment and keep needing outer things to make yourself better, you too will end up dry and barren and lonely. Where if you know, hang out with real, I mean, look at this, like, even with all of this fallen, dead trees, there's so much life and wildlife. And as I said, if you could smell the smells that I am smelling. And as I said, people, this is the end of summer. one of the driest, hottest summers. As I said, the driest, definitely. We've just had no rain. And look how she looks. Like, you just, oh, I'm just so impressed by nature. And I think this is exactly what we've got to do. We've got to go back to basics, see how they're doing it. And you know what? Start doing it like that. Start coming out and hanging out with nature. I just think you will just feel so much better. And mix it up. If you notice, I've taken you to a different spot on my farm every single day. So mix it up. Don't go to the same place and try and recreate the same experience. It's too hard and you're just putting pressure on yourself. Go to a different place and see what you can get out of that new place. Take all your beautiful skills that you have and put it into a different place, and you watch the different outcome come out. And this is what I'm doing with this beautiful nature, is I am playing to see what happens. And when I'm clearing, I, am singing, and my dogs are playing, and Eddie comes out for a visit, and all the little creatures are coming. And in winter, it's the really cute creatures like the birds and the rabbits and all the gorgeous ones. And I have such an experience, such fun doing it. And then all of that wood, like those sticks, I have my fire going 24/7 in winter because it's my heating and also my water keeps my water hot. So if I don't have my fire going, I don't have any warm water. And if I don't keep it going over the night, in the morning, if I want to wash dishes or something, I've got no hot water. Or if you want to have a shower because it's blooming freezing, So those little sticks are valuable because every day you've got to sort of just keep it going. Like it's going, but it just needs a little bit of a, poof. And so those little sticks are just fabulous. And then, you saw my big boys up there. I was just wondering if maybe Eddie is, Eddie's up under the tree up there. As I said, this is the opposite end of Eddie's paddock, and I'm actually following a kangaroo trail. I really trust the kangaroos out here because there's not a creature that is older that lives out here. So I think they know this land pretty well. Oh, I thought I saw Eddie. Maybe he's hiding behind that tree there. No? See what I mean about all the bora? I can hear Eddie. You can hear it drumming. It is in the distance though, so maybe he is. No, he's not going to come out. But look at these trees. Aren't they just amazing? I'm very lucky. I'm very, very lucky. Oh, look, George and Charlie have spotted something. Oh, Eddie is in the paddock. You see him? It's like Spot the Eddie. There he is. How much does he blend in? Oh, funny boy. He's like, what are you doing up here? So there you go, people. Another part of my block or property. We are right in the corner of the front. Might have to start giving my paddocks names. And George and Charlie are just, keeping a watch, making sure everything's all right with Eddie. Have a beautiful day. And look around. Look around at what you've got. And see if you can unearth some prettiness or some green, or, go. Maybe if you do have a block next to you, around you, that is a bit like this, and every time you walk past, grab one stick. Remember what I said? Every little bit matters. Every single little bit. Don't think that picking up a leaf doesn't matter, because it matters to you, and that's all you need to worry about. What matters to me? How can I be of service to something else? How can I help something else? I probably shouldn't be filming his property, but this is the top of his property and the scarp. It is just beautiful. I just feel so privileged to live here. I really do. And that's why I want to look after it, so somebody else, in 100 years can enjoy this too. Have a beautiful day and enjoy every little thing you have around you, because gosh, it's magic. It really is magic. See ya.